Hello, my name is Emer Manning. I am the Environmental Education and Youth Coordinator at ECO-UNESCO, and you're very welcome to the pre-recorded workshop of the 6 Steps to Success. So what's going to happen in this workshop is I'm going to build up to an activity. When that activity comes around, your teacher is going to pause the video, and then you will actually do the activity. When you are finished doing that, then the teacher can just hit play and I will continue and kind of lead you into the next activity. So that's how it's going to go. There will be a 3, 2, 1 countdown timer before it goes back into the normal video as well. So if you see that, that's totally normal. But let's start off the workshop with who are ECO-UNESCO. So some of you may have heard of us before and some of you may not. So we are a youth and environmental education organisation. We are a charity and a non-governmental organisation combined. We were founded in 1986, and most people know us because of the Young Environmentalist Awards. If you haven't heard of the Young Environmentalist Awards, it's essentially it's kind of like the BT Young Scientist Awards. It's nationwide. Any school, group or youth group can enter. But all of the projects have to have an environmental focus to them. And then we have a huge showcase of all of the selected projects in May, and groups can win prizes for themselves or their schools, etc. What we tend to do with these kinds of workshops, and this 6 Steps to Success is a little bit different, but what we tend to do with our environmental workshops is try to incite a passion or light a fire with young people to make them want to do an environmental action project. However, the 6 Steps to Success workshop is actually teaching you how to do an environmental action project. And then those action projects are then put forward to enter the YEA or the Young Environmentalist Awards. So hopefully if you're here and you're watching this, you kind of already have decided that you either would like to do an environmental action project, but you just don't really know where to go with it. Or you're so interested in a particular environmental topic that an environmental action project for your class or youth group or school is just probably the best next step to make sure that you're continuing on your route of environmental action. All of your projects and all of ECO-UNESCO's workshops are rooted in the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, or the UN SDGs. So as you can see here, there are 17 goals. If you haven't seen these before, I really do recommend that you go and you delve into them deeper. But these are 17 goals that the UN want to reach by the year 2030, and they were developed in the year 2015. So we're already 5 years into trying to achieve all of these goals. Some of these goals are huge. So if you look at goal number 2, for example, that goal is zero hunger. Zero hunger is obviously a monumental task to reach. But that's why I said if you want to kind of go and inspect these goals closer, if you look and delve deeper into goal 2, you'll see that there are actual check marks along the way to ensure that this goal will be met by 2030. So if you see a goal there that really particularly interests you and definitely interests you for an action project, you should definitely look into it closer on the UN's website. If you are entering the YEA, just be aware that we will ask you what goals does your project meet. Just be aware, if you're entering the YEA, we will ask you what goals does your project relate to. So make sure you do spend some time having a look at these. Next, we're going to do a really quick warm-up, just to kind of get our brains going for today's session. So this warm-up is called Samesies. So teacher, this is where we're going to practice our first activity. What I'd like you to do is I'd like you to split the class into groups of maybe 3 or 4. And when you're in your groups, what I want everybody else to do is find 3 things that all of you have in common. But you have to go deeper than school things or, just general school things. So for example, if you all wear the same uniform, you can't write, we all wear grey pants. Or if I'm talking to an all-boys school right now, you can't write, we are all male. Or whatever. You have to go deeper than school. So find 3 things that all of you have in common. I'm going to give you 5 minutes to do this activity. Teacher, For the first time, you can pause the video now. Okay, welcome back. I hope you learned lots of weird and wacky same things that you have in common with the people in your group. So we're going to move on and just talk a little bit more in depth about the YEA Awards, so the Young Environmentalist Awards. So this is an all-Ireland Environmental Awards programme. It recognises and rewards young people who carry out an action project to raise environmental awareness and a key point, to make change happen. So how this works is you create your action project and you register that project with us. And I'll get more into the timeline of registration and stuff later. But after all of the projects are registered, we kind of finalize which ones are going to go forward next. And then we have our semi-final rounds. And the semi-final rounds are done through what's called the Eco-Dens. The Eco-Dens, if any of you have ever seen that TV show Dragon's Den, it's that kind of style of a judging round. So the shortlisted teams are invited to come in and stand in front of a panel of expert judges and pitch their project. There are usually 4 Eco-Dens. There are usually 1 in Leinster, 1 in Connacht, 1 in Munster, and 1 in Ulster. And then all of the schools from those regions will come and pitch their projects at the Eco-Dens. Then the projects are shortlisted again based on the Eco-Dens, and then they go forward for the proper showcase and awards ceremony. And this typically happens in Dublin, although we are looking at moving it to around other counties in Ireland. But this is when all of the projects from all of the schools across the country come together, usually in May, for the big showcase and awards ceremony. So, we're actually going to do a Dragon's Den challenge today. We're going to make your own mini action project today. Doesn't have to be hugely fleshed out, but we are going to make a mini action project today, and you are going to present it Dragon Den style at the end of this workshop. So keep that in mind. But before we go into this, first of all, what is an action project? So an environmental action project is taking action with others to bring about change for the good of the planet. So this actually relates really well to step number 1 of the 6 steps to success. And we call it that because essentially there are only 6 steps to doing an action project from very, very start to very, very end. So the first one, when we talk about, taking action with others, first step is easy. Get your team together. So I'm going to give you guys 5 minutes to do this. Teacher, if you want to, you can break the class into teams that you think will work well together, or you can allow your students to pick their own teams. There's no particular number that has to be in a team, but try to maybe keep it, just for this workshop, maybe 3, 4, 5 per team. So you're going to have 5 minutes to, once you are in your teams, to choose your team name and to allocate roles to the team members. So I have a list of roles that you could include, so it's up to you. You can also add other roles if you think that I'm missing any there, but these are practical roles that will actually help the team move forward through the action project. So 5 minutes to do that. Teacher, you can pause the video here. Okay, welcome back. I hope that went really well for you and you're all in your teams and you all have your roles and that you have some wacky yet appropriate team names. We're going to move from step 1 now to step 2, and step 2 is a much, much bigger task. So I'm going to break this down a little bit with a couple of slides, and we're going to give you a much bigger amount of time to do this one. So step 2 is to select your issue that you're interested in doing the action project on, and to research that topic. So first thing I want you to do is choose an issue that interests the group. And you could do this by looking back at the Sustainable Development Goals or at slides that I am going to show you now in a second. Step 2, after you pick your issue that interests the group, you're going to research information on that topic and write it down. So teacher, I'm going to ask if you would be okay allowing your students, or if I'm talking to a youth group leader, to allowing your youth to use phones or iPads or laptops or computers that you might have in the classroom at the moment so that they can research the topic more. And then after you've researched the topic, you're going to write down information or questions that you would like to explore further. So before we do that, let's just explore some environmental issues that you could pick from. So, environmental issues. Can you name any? I'm going to give you just 2 minutes with the groups that you're currently still in to write down as many environmental issues that you can possibly think of in the space of 2 minutes. And then when we come back here, I'll put some of my environmental issues up on the screen for you to have a look at, and then I'll go back to those instructions so that you can have them fresh in your head before you do the second part of the activity. But for now, we're just brainstorming environmental issues. 2 minutes. Teacher, you can pause the video here. Okay, welcome back. So, I hope you came up with some environmental issues. You're probably going to have quite a few of the ones that I have, but hopefully I'll have some additional ones as well that you can look at, just kind of for inspiration. So here's the ones that I have. Quite a few. So we have population growth, pollution, irresponsible consumption, poverty, injustice, inequality, less drinking water, unusual migrations, species extinction, war, climate change, deforestation, and food scarcity. So there's quite a few there. You could also take some of your own that you've come up with that aren't listed here. But these are just to give you some ideas for part 2. So let's go back to part 2's instructions. So this was to select that issue that you want to focus on, research the issue, and then write down information or questions that you would like to expand on further. We're going to give you 15 minutes to do this. So whenever you're ready, get back into your groups and I'll see you in 15 minutes. Teacher, you can pause the video here. Okay, welcome back. So the next part is the longest part, and we will take a break after the next part because it's going to be an intense 25 minutes for the next section. Step 3 is the longest one, and that is to develop your action plan. So the first step you're going to do is you're going to do what's called a 25-way brainstorm. So this is, think of 25 solutions to the problem that you have chosen. And the idea is to do this quite quickly and to just write down everything that you can. Some of these can be ridiculous ideas that would never actually work, but that inspiration could lead you on to actually find a really, really good, interesting solution. So you're going to brainstorm your 25-way plan. Then the second thing you're going to do is once you have 25 options, you're going to select the 3 options that are most doable and most interesting to you. And then the last thing you're going to do is you're going to use these 3 solutions to think of how you could finish your project plan from start to finish. So you're actually going to take those 3 solutions that you've come up with, and you're going to write a plan of how you could actually use that solution to combat what your issue is from start of a project to the finish. What's the main activity that you would do with that solution if you were actually physically doing it? So 25 minutes for this one. So take your time, get into it, have a good brainstorm, and I'll see you then. Teacher, you can pause the video now. Okay, welcome back. I know that was probably a super long 25 minutes for you all, but well done. So we're gonna cleanse ourselves now of the work, and we're gonna stop halfway through our 6 steps to success. You're more than halfway done, in terms of time anyway. So we're going to take this time just to do another warm-up activity. And what I want to do for this one is, teacher, I want you to actually swap the groups around. So I don't want the people to be in the same group. It's good to see different faces. So mix the groups around. You're going to put them back into groups of, if you can, 3 or 4. And then this activity you probably have heard of before. It's called 2 truths and 1 lie. And what you're going to do is, every single person in the class is going to write down 3 sentences about themselves. 2 of those sentences are going to be truthful things about themselves. And 1 of those sentences is going to be a complete lie. And then when all the sentences are written down, the students are going to propose these 3 sentences to each other, and their teammates are going to have to guess which one of those sentences is the lie. So, to give you an example, I'm going to give you my examples that I always give to classes and youth groups. So mine are: 1, I was born without an appendix. 2, in the summer months, I like to go and tag sharks. And 3, I helped stop a robbery when I was 9 years old. So those are my 3. And now it's kind of up to you to make your own. Try to keep your lie still in the realm of, it could be possible, it could be. So you make it more difficult for your teammates to guess which one is actually the lie. So whenever you're ready, I'm going to give you 10 minutes to do this activity to really cleanse the brain of all the work that you've just done, and we'll come back to it in 10 minutes time. Teacher, you can pause the video here. Okay, welcome back. I hope that was fun and that you learned some crazy things about each other. So for those of you who are curious, the answer for my lie was that I was born without an appendix. I was born with an appendix. I do like to go and tag sharks during the summer months, and I did help stop a robbery when I was 9 years old. But that's a story for a different day. So let's move on to step 4. So if you haven't already, teacher, can you please get the class back into the groups that they were already in for their action project work. And then in step 4, super quick activity, only 5 minutes. This is going to be your take action step. Now, normally, when you're actually doing an action project, this is probably the biggest part. So this is where you take the solutions that you made in step 3, you pick one of the solutions that you think would work the best, and that's your project. That's what you do. And then step 4 is the actual part where you act on that solution and you do whatever you said that you would do as your solution in step 3. But because I don't know what you've selected, we're going to do a really simple take action part here. And this is only 5 minutes long, and it's write an email about your issue to your local TD in exactly 50 words. All right, so we're going like Twitter on this. You have to fit everything into that word count of exactly 50 words. So have fun with it, but try to get all of your information to your TD about your project down on that paper. Have fun, and I will see you here in 5 minutes. Teacher, you can pause the video here. Okay, welcome back. I hope that was a fun activity for you. Do remember that in your real action projects, this step 4 is the part where you actually do your long action. So it's definitely not as easy as just writing a letter to your TD, but I hope this gave you an idea of an action that could be part of your actual action project. So step 5. Raise awareness. Now this is a lot of text on the screen, but I'm going to bring my mouse in so that you can see where I'm reading. So this is actually going to be where you do your presentation, right? So step 6 is going to come after you are finished your action project. So this really is the last point. So 5 minutes prep is what you're going to get, and then you're going to have 1 minute each to present. So, prepare to present your action project in front of the class. Below are the guidelines for presenting. So, be sure to, number 1, introduce your team. Number 2, what is the problem that you selected? Way back in step 2. Number 3, what were your best solutions? Remember, you picked your 3 best solutions. Number 4, who is your target audience to conduct this action project with? And number 5, finish with a cheesy rhyme or hashtag. Hashtags are super important when we actually go into real action project creation, because you kind of want to make a name for yourself and for your project before the YEA Awards. So, the rules of this presentation. Every person has to talk, so you can do 1 sentence each if you want to. Use good presentation techniques. So actually try to make this an eco-dens style where you're presenting in front of judges, and do your best. 3, sell to your audience and convince us that your solution will work. 5, the presentation should only be 1 minute. And 6, each group in the class will give marks out of 10 for each presentation. So each group, after they see one of their fellow groups speak, will grade how well they did out of 10. And what you're looking for is all of the rules that I just said. You're looking to make sure that everybody in the group spoke. You're looking to make sure that they presented well. You're looking to make sure that they sold their idea to you and that their solution would work to you. And you want to make sure that the presentation wasn't too short and wasn't too long. And that's what your grading criteria is. So every group is going to have 5 minutes time to compile this into, or like to prep your entire action project into a speech that you will give that will meet all of these points here. And then when you're finished those 5 minutes, each group is going to present. So in total, I'm probably going to give about maybe 15 minutes or so for this activity, but teacher, if you're finished way before that, feel free to just continue playing the video. So best of luck to everybody. I know this can be really nerve-wracking, but it's really good practice, and I know you'll do great. I'll see you in about 15 minutes. Have fun with it. Teacher, you can pause the video here. Well done! I know that can be really horrible for so many people, so I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope that you all kind of felt that it gave you some self-confidence in speaking or creating an action project together. The last step, which is just as important as all of the rest, but this is to be done after your action project is pretty much finished, but in the YEA, this is something that we do ask. Step 6 is to reflect on what you did. So last 5 minutes really is going to be about this, which is in your group, reflect on the score that you got from your classmates. Write down 3 improvements you think you could make to your action project if you were to do it again. So that's the last 5 minutes, and then you have finished the 6 steps to success. So take 5 minutes and then come on back to me. Teacher, you can pause the video here. Hey, welcome back. Congratulations! You just finished the 6 steps to success. So your 6 steps are done. Here's a reminder if you need to write them down, or you want to take a picture on your phone or screenshot this screen, whatever. But your 6 steps were: get your team together, select an issue and research it, develop an action plan, take action, raise awareness, and reflect. Done! So the only other thing that we should mention is that you have to record everything that you do along the way. And I don't mean record like the way I'm recording this video for you now. I mean that if you have gone to a meeting and you took notes at the meeting, keep the notes. Don't throw them out. The reason why is because a part of the YEA is that you can actually get bonus points by submitting all of these little scraps of paper that you have, or posters that you made, or voice clips that you have when you were in meetings together, or videos or pictures, whatever. So keep everything that you do for your action project and be sure that you are keeping it in such a way that it can be submitted to us. I'm going to give you a rough timeline for the YEA if you're looking at doing an action project. So essentially, this is it. In December, you register your project. It only takes about 5 minutes to do. Then in February, you do the much longer submission of your project. Then in March and April, you will have the ECO-Dens, which is the semi-finals. So by this point, you pretty much want your project to be well underway, if not done. And then in May, we have the final showcase and awards ceremony. So that's it. It's really straightforward. There's not that much to it. So in February, with that big project submission, I'm just going to show you what you have to have prepared by February, because this is what they ask for the submission. It's all online. All of it is online, and you can see the website there if you want to go and look up more information. But you just need to complete a form, and the 6 steps to success framework, those literal 6 steps, should be used to assist you in completing that form. So just by doing this workshop, you actually have a leg up because you know what the 6 steps are that we're looking for. You need to include a PowerPoint, and everything, remember I said record everything? Everything about your project should be included in that PowerPoint. So photos, worksheets, meeting minutes, links to a video diary, website, social media, articles, etc. So that's also required, and more detail on what you include in the PowerPoint can be seen on the website. We also need a 1-minute video pitch. So just like you talk to your classmates for 1 minute, you just record yourself doing that to us, even though we won't be in the same room as you when you're recording it. And then finally, you fill in your online individual reflection forms. So much like you just did at the very, very end of the 6 steps. And that's everything that you need. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play you a really quick video of the Young Environmentalist Awards 2019 so that you can watch it and just kind of get an idea of what the YEA actually looks like. So I'm going to turn off my camera and mute my microphone and play this for you. And I hope that it gives you a good idea of what the YEA Showcase Awards is like.
Today we're celebrating ECO-UNESCO's Young Environmentalist Awards 2019. This is the 20th year of the Young Environmentalist Awards programme. In that time we have worked with over 49,000 young people and I suppose thousands and thousands of others.
Today is fantastic. I have been involved in the ECO-Den, so I have seen the schools presenting early versions of their work. But today what we're seeing is hundreds of schools all over the country. And these are all winners, they're all finalists, and they're all absolutely amazing projects which relate to the Sustainable Development Goals, but also to the environment and lots of other issues.
It's just an incredible day. It's incredible to see so many young people, so many ideas, so much enthusiasm, and I think I'm finding it quite hopeful actually, seeing the level of engagement of young people, especially with the likes of the Sustainable Development Goals, which we're seeing young people are really kind of leading the conversation and really, you know, bringing everyone else's attention to the Sustainable Development Goals here.
So we're working for Life Below Water and Sustainable Cities.
Basically we're trying to raise awareness but also clean up the Boyne River which runs through our town, and also to lobby the council for it and to educate people on how important the environment around the river and also in the river is.
Our project is called Be the Change, so we were trying to get our audience to challenge them to change their consumer habits in order to benefit the environment and to make an impact, positive impact for our planet.
So last summer I did a research project with the RSPB investigating the effect of wildlife-friendly farming on the biodiversity of pollinators, and then I brought that back to our school where Jack stepped in and helped expand it.
So we then launched a petition with the UK Parliament website, and we were the first group of young people to launch a petition with them, and we are gathering signatures at the moment, and we would welcome all support.
We've done a load of projects on how to fix biodiversity in our school and the area around us in County Clare. So we've been doing like a lot of projects, like including bees, climate change strikes, stuff like that to help.
All right, I hope you really enjoyed that. We hope to see you there this May. We don't know what the YA Award Showcase ceremony looks like from year to year. It changes all the time. So more of that information will be shown and provided to you across our social media platforms. So do feel free to follow us on all of the above. We also give information on workshops like this, youth courses, climate action events that you can join. So if you're interested in that, make sure that you give us a follow. And thank you so much for listening and taking the time to be here today. If there's any questions that you have, or if you'd like clarification or information on anything, feel free to reach out to us. Your teacher or youth worker should have my email or somebody from ECO-UNESCO's email, so they can write to us and ask any of your concerns, and we'll do our best to get back to you as soon as we can. So have a wonderful day and happy action project making, and hopefully we'll see you at the YEA in May. Bye!